All right, system and information integrity. When we talk about the integrity of the message, right, this is a fundamental aspect of communications, and especially security. When we talk about the message must get through in an unadulterated fashion. So agencies must develop policies and testing patches before installation so that you can roll back, right? And then when we find issues, we have 15 days, right? Remember, this is monthly. So every 15 days, if we find a critical flaw, and by the way, don't wait 15 days for critical, please, right? That's something that's going to allow them in immediately or have a devastating effect on us. 15 days for criticals, 30 days for highs, 60 days for mediums, and 90 days for lows. So here's an interesting concept. As this rolls forward and we run into issues that we haven't taken care of from the last low, and then we have additional highs, we're going to have a concern here as far as balance goes. I think this is one of the areas where the certain lows may take us a long time to get to. And remember, we have to find ways to get to them or mitigate the risk. And so I would argue that when we can't get to something, the answer may be, oh, well, we got to monitor it. We got to make sure the bad guys aren't getting to it. And I have to suggest that when they go to audit us, they have to consider that, in my opinion. That doesn't mean they will, but it does mean they have to. It should be part of the common sense approach here. But taking care of those criticals to high, absolutely. The other thing they also mentioned here that is new to this process, including performing periodic scans, as well as real-time scans of the packets. Okay, so packet level awareness, something we've always prided ourselves on, doesn't happen for everybody. A lot of your network monitoring things, flow control and other methodologies utilized could tell you about intruders. The problem is they're not looking at the behaviors of the packet, and oftentimes they've been lied to in the past successfully. So you've got to use something more similar to what we do. They have to find a way to do it better and to step up their game to make sure they're monitoring like we do, because this is required. And you must implement systems to provide signature-based. This should be built into everybody because it tells us about the bad things we already know about. And identifying that malicious aspect of it so we can get there, and then provide alerts to the system or network administrators so that they can do something. Make sure those alerts are accurate. When you talk to the monitoring company, ask them about how many false positives you can expect to get, because I've seen systems that were very good give us 500,000 alerts and 50% were false. Well, that's not good, right? I can't go through 500,000 in a day, and I'm good at going through alerts, right? So it's really a challenge, and we have to make sure we're addressing that. System must be able to identify false positives. That's absolutely huge portion of all of this, and now required. They're also now requiring monitoring. This is something that we've espoused from the beginning, right? Monitor, visualize, protect. Now we must make sure that you can see the intruders, you can see malicious code, and you're doing active vulnerability scanning, and they're recording all of that so that you can put it in your monthly report. That's how you're going to get past that monthly report. So that packet level monitoring combined with the scanning, that's really the magic sauce that we need to put in there. And you can do this yourself. Very difficult, it's a lot of work, and we have a SOC that does all of that for you. So do others. There's other good teams out there helping you with this. And maybe make sure that they're able to indicate unauthorized use, right? They have to be able to see who logged into what and what did they touch, so that we can identify it as part of that process and make sure that we're there. We also have to up our game on spam and spyware, right? Because imagine 84% of malware is delivered through email. Well, and people click the links, it's gonna happen. So what do we do here? We up our game on the firewalls, who we're using, what endpoint protections we're using, and really looking at how are we allowing remote access, right? Or what are we going to those remote access for, and how are they upping their game on the spyware, and especially spam, et cetera, because it is so much, and it is so well written nowadays because they're using AI, et cetera. We need to up our game, and we have to build those mechanisms in so that we can take action, we can block them, we can quarantine them, all the usual capabilities. Now we must do it on the systems of CJIS, right? So as it pertains to CJIS, those firewalls must have some spam and spyware protection, because this is unfortunately worked against the CJIS networks as well. This is how they've gotten in. So we make sure that we're looking